Hey YouTube, this is another inbox review, and this is Sean. What we have today is a SBTU Vindicator from Accurate Miniatures. This is a company that went out of business, I think, around 2000, and it's kit number 480202. Now, again, my videos are mostly focused around the cheap modeler, so let's talk about a non-monogram kit for once, right? These kits are better quality, which you'll see really quickly. They're a much better kit, but they're out of business. However, there are a ton of these kits floating around on eBay. Prices, they're pretty acceptable, especially for the quality and the subject matter. You're going to get a nice display versus a monogram kit. Assembly can be a little more difficult. They have more parts. Some of the parts are a little not as well engineered. So if I was thinking about engineering for a second, this is how do things fit together? Are they flush? Do I have to require more effort on my part as a modeler to put them together? Is it not intuitive? That's the engineering. And the absolute best in the business, Tamiya. Tamiya does an unbelievable job at that. Things just fall together like butter. They fit, they're wonderful, but you pay for that. They're expensive kits. Some of them are really expensive. Some of them are not so much, but for the most part, to me, is expensive. Let's just be honest. This kit maker is no longer in business, and they're honestly going for cheaper prices than they almost went for when they originally sold. They're good kits. They actually come out and make really nice models. They can be a little more on the difficult on the engineer side, but if you've built more than a couple of models and you want a nice display kit of, say, an Avenger or the Vindicator or the Dauntless, I would really recommend you picking up one of these kits. They're very easy to find. I found this kit in a local hobby store. Someone had taken it in and sold it to them. I paid $25 for the kit. So compare that to, say, going to Hobby Lobby. If Hobby Lobby sold a Revel version of a similar kit, you'd be spending probably $20, $24, $22, so they're pretty close in price point. This is a much better kit than a Revel kit, which you'll see very quickly. So again, if you can find one for the right price, pick it up. It's worth 25, 30 bucks for a kit. I recently picked up a dual Dauntless kit from this company, where I got two kits, two sets of decos, two sets of everything for $25. That was a steal. You're not going to find those typically on eBay, but I did find it once. So that's the price points, around 30 bucks for these kits. So they're very affordable. And let's take a look at what we got. So it's 1/48 scale. And one word of warning: I have already started the kit, so some of this will be assembled already. A lot of it's still in its original form, so it's still fine for a kit review. Each sprue is individually wrapped, which is kind of an interesting touch. Raised panel lines on this aircraft. I don't think there's any inset panel lines. Detail is still very nice. No flash to speak of. Plastic is pretty decent. It's not very brittle like some of the old. I forget the kit maker. There was a kit maker that made very Matchbox. Sorry, Matchbox made very brittle plastic. Again, individually wrapped. Nice stuff. I've already taken these out, obviously, because I was working on the kit. And you'll also notice immediately a difference from monogram. Lots of sprues, right? Probably double the parts from a Revel kit, which means more detail, which means more interesting builds. Here's a pre-assembled piece that I did. This is the main fuselage with the crew compartments for this aircraft. And there's probably 30 parts or 40 parts in this section right here. So incredible amount of part count, very nice. Take out some of these little pieces. There's a false bottom. This is after this is supposed to be modeled after an aircraft that pilot Richard Fleming flew, who won the Medal of Honor. In the hidden compartment, we have the clear parts, very nicely done. We will look at the instructions here in a bit. I have some comments on that. I have photo etch, very little photo etch, but a little bit. Photo etch here is basically like the straps for the harness. Decos, Pretty nice decos, pretty basic, but still nice decos. The aircraft didn't have any things. I have masking for the aircraft, which I'll be excited to play with that. And that's it. Let's talk about the instructions. Instructions is something where I think Accurate Miniatures is not very good at. This is their version of instructions. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes like you would look at this and say, well, that looks pretty clear. But when I was assembling this, it didn't feel that clear. And some of the engineering, again, isn't perfect. So you might sometimes struggle to understand how exactly things will go together. Like here's an example of some areas where I was really questioning the fit and questioning whether or not this was really accurate. I really had a hard time putting those sections together. And honestly, I lost interest at that point in the kit. And that's not necessarily a ding on the kit, that's just me. I lose interest really quickly. So it doesn't mean I don't like it, it just means that I needed to move on to something else. I spent probably, I think, 3 or 4 days on the kit, and I was already losing interest, and I wanted to do something else. It's definitely a kit I'll finish before the end of the year. It's a nice kit. Really looking forward to putting it together. Instructions leave a little bit to be desired. Engineering, again, also something else that's probably a negative for Accurate Miniatures. And when I say engineering, I don't mean the detail. Like, it's very detailed. That's a strength for it. So it's kind of the opposite from Revell, if you think about it for a second. Revell makes kits that are low part count, low detail, that have fit issues, really bad fit issues, horrible fit issues. But for the most part, they're simple kits that can come together quickly. I really highly recommend Accurate Miniatures. This kit especially seems to be quite nice. I'm probably going to end up buying another one of these kits so that I can do 2 paint versions, so I can do the pre-war yellowing version and then do the blue-gray version, which I adore the blue-gray versions of aircraft. So yeah, I recommend it. I would not spend more than, say, $35 for this kit. Any of these kits are probably, except for maybe the B25, I would never spend more than, say, $35 for one of those kits. I would choose these over Revell if I have to choose between, say I have 2 Avengers. One's a Revell Avenger and one is the Accurate Miniatures Revell. There's no choice. I'm choosing Accurate Miniatures. They make nicer kits, maybe a little more on the engineering difficulty, but again, they're going to make far more better details, they're going to look prettier, better plastic, better everything else. Decos are great. Again, highly recommend them. I see them everywhere. I see them in stores, I see them online, so there shouldn't be any trouble finding Accurate Miniatures. Be careful on the eBay. You're probably going to find people selling singles, and they'll try to jack the price up over 40 on them sometimes. Don't bother with that. Just wait your turn, get the right one for you. Again, try to spend in the $20 range, and I think you won't be upset. I think you'll be quite satisfied. So watch out for them. They're Accurate Miniatures. They have this logo. Sometimes you can get them without the box in a just a cardboard box in the dual pack versions. Look out for those, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe, and until next time.